Hi, this is Gavin Kierstead reporting in for Project 2 Part C. So actually all of my changes were done in the challenging map rather than the tutorial and intermediate sections, just since that is where most of my feedback was for, as well as the fact that they actually accomplished pretty much everything I was attempting to when observing my playtesters, as well as their feedback on it. Yeah, so most of my changes are done actually in the first area, directly apart from the first area that you jump across this big gap to. But there's some small changes here and there as well. So in this first area, I changed the sightlines on this bit. So this was initially blocked off, so you couldn't quite see that area as much. Now you can actually see that right from the beginning, so kind of leads the player a little bit better, so they know a little more. Hopefully a little more of where they need to go. Just do the lighting and the laser up there and stuff like that. Just kind of gives them a little guidance. But also I opened up some of this area. This was a little blocked off more just along there, which it closed off the player a little more and just looked a little sloppy. So I changed that up a bit. And I also added these portable surfaces just so there's a couple more ways to get across. But to get across, it's the same thing over here. You just use this to get up there. Matter of using these portals. You can actually use that as there as well, which sends you. It doesn't always do that, but it sends you too far. Sometimes you hit the laser and it'll stop you and stuff, but that is another way to get up there. Otherwise you can use just the floor surface. I changed the signage here because it was kind of a mess of the dotted lines, the dotted connections, and there's now just 3 signages that they can see. Makes it a little cleaner and doesn't go across this, so they can use this again to get back a little. They'll notice this may be a little easier, just not cluttered. I also changed up. There was 2 more fizzle fields on the other side of the far slanting block or wall piece, but I got rid of them just because it was kind of cluttering things up. So a lot of my stuff in this initial bit was just kind of some cleanup and making so that the player actually understood what was in front of them and didn't look sloppy. So here though, I light up these areas. So they can hopefully see it from that main area up there a little easier. But then yeah, so this is the area where the most changes took place. Nearly all the changes took place. I was working through trying to get a part of the level that was still similar, because I think I liked to some extent my area before because it still kind of had the same feeling of a lot of the other of the other areas of this map, but it didn't really end up accomplishing what I was trying to do. Because it did have a couple of different methods of getting to where you needed to get to. That wasn't exactly what I was wanting. So yeah, it wasn't perfect. But yeah. So this is I hope that they basically see this. This is still the connection that gets rid of the fizzle field. And they will see this laser with assuming that they need to use that because they see 2 different ones. Oh, and also actually just the fact that they realize that this is what they need due to it being a sound cue, because it's fizzling over and over again. But also just it's being lit up and stuff. But they do need then that reflection cube to get this, but they don't need the reflection cube to get this, which turns that off. Oops. There we go. So that stops it. But once they go to get themselves up there, it starts fizzling again. So they'll use this hopefully and realize it sends them right there, which they can. Okay, I did. Nope, not quite. So I'll have to use this. There's a couple ways of getting it to do it. I guess you can just put that there as well. Switch across. And now there might be. Oops. Yeah, so you don't have to actually do that, and I think I might change that still. Yeah, I might put it so it's it's flat, so they have to actually disable it. Maybe have it so it has both of them, and then they're both connected to that laser down there. But yeah, you would just from here. My intention was to have them do that so that they have to turn it off to actually grab it. But yeah, they can currently just grab it, and I don't necessarily see that as a bad thing, just because then they can kind of just expedite the process, and if they're quick enough, grab it. But I don't know. I might put in a second fizzle field or whatever they're called. Then you use that nonetheless to come down here, and bumping the reflection cube as you leave. It opens up that same as before, and from here you can put that down. There, there, and it's just from here on out. It's actually the same thing. So, there. The only changes I've made is just making this a little more obvious as to that this is where you need to go. Just kind of lighting it up again, same as that other area that I lit up. It's not quite visible from here, but just making it so that the player realizes where they need to go and kind of where these two are going. Because that was actually one of the big things that they were saying is like, yeah, they realized that this is where that was set. They were supposed to use those, but they didn't know where they're going to send them. And so I used the lights to realize, okay, it's not just some void that they're being shot into, as well as this is actually where they need to go. But yeah, from here, it is the same. Place the portal down there. The player places the portal up there. They use the pad. End it. So all in all, though, I got some pretty good feedback. It was mostly centered around that second, the first area across the gap. That was that I changed the most. That was the area with the most feedback, as it was the least liked area. But yeah, otherwise that's. It sums up this area. I was playing with some other ideas of utilizing this laser, but most of them turned out to be kind of just more annoying, or not. It wouldn't actually work out because you would need portals or something to that extent. And I was kind of playing with the idea of maybe a little Easter egg or like a shortcut or something like that. But I think I'm more satisfied with having the player kind of follow this specific path of just kind of using the portals to get to where they need to go, and using the lasers to access different elements to unlock the next area, kind of thing. But yeah, that wraps it up.